There's just this question that I've been asking for a really long time of how do people keep going when it gets tough? Because sometimes life just sucks.
I started off with smoking cigarettes and drinking, then moved into pot, then the painkillers like Percocets and Roxys. Then I started smoking the Roxys. Then I started selling them. I used to see the difference in the people once they touched the needle. They became like super desperate.
When I was a kid, I didn't really have much direction. Football kind of gave me a different outlook, and I kind of saw that maybe it was possible for me to go to the NFL. I received a scholarship from A&M. It's almost like a dream, and I was, one of the top players in the state, one of the top of my position in the country. I feel like I let my family down. I feel like I let my teammates down. Before my season even starts, it's over. Second game of the season, I tore my ACL.
I remember not really understanding so much about what cancer meant at this time. I was diagnosed with an advanced stage cancer at about 8 years old. I was pretty weak. Initially was considered terminal because it had spread to several organ spots. We started thinking about end-of-life arrangements. I started thinking about, what did I do wrong? What did I do to deserve this?
Regardless of the adversity, how do we thrive? Some people overcome and others don't, and what's the difference and how do we train that? And wanting to understand it, both for my own moments of just being flat on my face, I can't do it anymore, and I don't want to keep going. How do we come out of it having grown stronger and better? And how do we help other people get through those moments?
Resiliency is the ability to experience an unexpected or a negative event in your life and be able to recover and move forward.
I quit my job and said, I'm just gonna ask. So I put on social media and said, hey, if anyone has a story of adversity and they've overcome, I want to hear it. And it just started with 1 comment, 2 comments, and I looked the next day and there's 300 comments. And got to hear a ton of people's stories, just what they've been through and how they've overcome, and realized I want to meet some of them. Let's do this. So I spent a month traveling around the US, just meeting people and hearing their stories.
Resilient people just seem to see an opportunity in all those circumstances. And they start by going through a recovery process that other people who aren't as resilient really have trouble getting into. Truly resilient people seem to have this unbelievable gift. They never question if they're going to move forward. They just assume they will. And to me, that's the key. There is a path forward, even if it's not the path you thought you were going to walk.
The coolest thing about these stories and why they're so contagious is because these stories empower people, and the way that it can just captivate in such a way to say, I can keep going, even if it's just from today to tomorrow.
It's never too late. It's a hard battle. It's not easy. But at the end of the day, if you want to do great things in life, you have to get them done, and that takes hard work. Sometimes it just takes one person to push you over the edge into greatness.
Grit is the strength of one's character to overcome something. And when I think about that, it's like, I don't know if I'd ever really know how strong I really am if it had not been from all of those experiences growing up.
I went from a kid that had no hopes and dreams to living the dream.
I really wanted to be able to share a story with people that would resonate in their hearts and that people could look at and say, that's how you take on adversity.
Our goal is that we're connecting people with resources to making an impact in building cities and people up.
I don't know what my future entails, but I do know it's bright and beautiful. And it took a lot of work for me to set that up. I have dreams and hopes again. And that's something I can never replace. No pill's ever gonna take that away.